Can you tell me this story about getting your entire family to take MDMA?
Oh gosh, yeah. So a couple years ago, I'll start. I took ayahuasca for the first time after a breakup, and it was very impactful. The breakup is what drove me there, and what I took from it was much, much more than that. So I continued down this path of psychedelic therapy, having never done any sort of drugs and having been off alcohol for 8 years at that point. So this was like a big deal for me. And after experimenting with ayahuasca, 5-MeO-DMT, psilocybin, and then MDMA, I found that MDMA was the one that was easiest to recommend to newbies. And that's because MDMA, unlike ayahuasca, is oftentimes going to give you a historical view of your life. Versus ayahuasca, you might see shapes and the elves and DMT, and it's like, what the hell? MDMA is like a warm blanket being wrapped around you that gives you the courage to dive into your traumas and what you made of them. And oftentimes the things that come up are the things that you think, I dealt with that. That's totally fine and out of the way. So I got a lot of awesome stuff, which would take a long time to talk about from my experiences. And one by one went to my family and said, I really want you to do this. And what ultimately I think got them to agree was the changes that they saw in me. Particularly my dad didn't want to go, but a lot of what was coming for me in these experiences was wanting more of a connection with him. And it was tough for me even to say to him that, like, I started telling him, like a charismatic person, like, this would be good for you. And I think it would be good for your life. And, you would enjoy this. And what ultimately I think moved him was the authentic truth, which is, I need you to do this so I can feel close to you. And that was like very fucking hard for me to say with a quaver in my voice, near tears. And I think that was what ultimately got him to do it. In any event, last August, we all did it together. And it was fucking wild, man. It was wild. There was a lot of stuff went down.
Talk me through the morning of waking up. And when you look at your calendar for the day, you have take MDMA with my entire family. Like what does that feel like?
So we were in Big Bear, and we got a little cabin with a therapist to help coach us through the experience. I was so nervous, man. I barely needed to take MDMA. I was on the verge. I was shaking and on the verge. Like I was ready to crack already. So within minutes of taking it, I was like, crying and talking about stuff. And no, what I felt was, I'm the oldest son, and what I felt was terror at the failings of my younger siblings, because I was in the position of having to have, not of caretaker, but of like, I should have known better. And terror at, telling my parents the disappointments that I had with them, because they were, to me, were in the position of that. So I was scared on both sides, mostly scared of getting it from my younger brother and sister for the letdowns that I've had over the years. But yeah, it was a scary, exhilarating experience, and it was one that there's a lot that I could say about it, but I think what the good that came of it, briefly, is that I assumed the correct role in the family of oldest sibling. And I think what I had done was assume a triangulated role in between my mom and my dad as like referee of their interactions. I was like a third parent, judgmental of the brother and sister, separate from them. And what I expressed to everybody is like, I want to be a brother and a son, not a guru, is what I am. Yeah, which is what I am on YouTube. Everybody listens to me, and that's kind of the dynamic that has been set up in the family. It's like, I don't want this. I did this as a coping mechanism for what was happening, like that I needed to take this place. And so I want to learn from the wisdom of my mom and dad and not have a separate power differential between my brother and my sister and fit in that. So there was a lot that happened, but it was awesome. And I got a lot of what I needed. And honest to God, afterward, I felt like a life's purpose was lifted off my shoulders. I was like, I fucking did it. If I just died today, I did what I had to do. And so it was awesome. And it was a culmination of a lot of different things. And I highly recommend exploring the idea of psychedelic therapy. I don't recommend it for everyone, and there's definite contraindicators, but it has been the most powerful thing of the last 5 to 10 years. And the only thing comparable to it is the realization that I could consciously change myself. And now I'm getting to the realization that my unconscious is most of me. So that's what I kind of have to address, is not all the things that I think about, but the things that just are the case about me.
Man, that's so beautiful. I'm really, really happy to hear the progress that you made for you and for your family. It's like really gorgeous and puts into perspective the work that can be done. You know, there's this strange situation that occurs. May have been early for you. It sounds like it might have been a little bit early for you, but there's this strange situation that everybody goes through at some point when they stop being the one who is not at the mercy of their parents, but with their parents being the wisdom givers, and that power dynamic flips. And it's now the parents that are coming to them for help with technology, for concerns that they have around what's going to happen next, for I've left my job, for I want to change my career, for when am I going to retire, for whatever it might be. And that navigating that change of polarity, because it just happens. Just one day you're having a conversation with your parents and you go, I'm steering the ship of this interaction mostly now. Yeah. And only 5 or 10 years ago, I was completely like behest to your whims. And I was basically just this blob, this like useless blob that you would give a lift to sport practice or whatever. And it's so bizarre. That dynamic changing is so strange and odd to navigate.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many reactions that I have to that. Generally, I think that people underestimate it's cliched. You know, Freud made it so stupidly cliche that we throw out the influence of early childhood interactions. But in the same way that we all have accents that we picked up when we were very, very young, that no matter what happens in life, we will not use. Like, we have accents in what love means to us. We have accents in what power means to us. And you can be told over and over again, but you will speak with that accent when it comes to love and power and all these other things. So revisiting it, one, is very important. And then more specifically to what you said, what for me, and I think every family is different, is to recognize and have enough faith in my parents that just because they don't know the technological stuff, that there isn't still wisdom there. And I think very early on, I said, because it was difficult or frustrating or I was angry, I said, you don't know shit. I'm going to do it. And it served me well. You know, my dad wanted me to stay a consultant. I fucked off and started Charisma on Command. It worked for, there was merit to going, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. But in going back and saying, I threw some baby out with the bathwater, and there is wisdom here. And the world, at least for me and my family, the world is not a place that I have to discover entirely on my own. And I have the trust in you that some of your wisdom can help guide me through it, is what I needed to recognize, because I was too fiercely my own guru, my own independent thing.
Well, think about what we were talking about earlier on, that you have this period of making yourself, of becoming, and then it kind of swings across into being, and then you realize that maybe some of the things that served you when you were 21 are now your terrorizers when you're 31. And okay, now I've got rid of these, but oh shit, like what does this leave me as now? This kind of vacillation, kind of like a pirate ship at a theme park, right? That it just swings backwards and forwards, swings backwards and forwards. And what you hope to try and do is to get it to sit somewhere close to where Plum would be. And a lot of the time it's just working out when you're veering off course. So for instance, with your parents, you go through this period. You're totally correct. You're totally correct that you could see, well, look, inevitably everyone who is a millennial or sort of a Gen Z at the moment is teaching their parents about technology. And you can use that as a crowbar to not only have power over your parents, but also to kind of throw out all of the other shit that they tell you to do. It's like, you can't even work the fucking iPad. What are you going to teach me? and learning that again and relearning, okay, fuck, I thought that I was the person that was in control and I was able to help and be useful, and now I need to deprogram that shit as well, and I need to now reintegrate the thing that I learned when I was 2, which is listen to parents often know best. It's spirals, right? Ever tighter and tighter circles, as Joss Waitzkin calls it.
Yes, I love that. Yeah, it's been, I guess when I think about the ship, it's almost the question is what pushed the ship to the other side? And in many cases, it was pain. It was like I was listening to you guys and it hurt. And so I went, never again. And I think that idea of never again causes people to overcompensate in so many areas of their life. So like they get rejected by a girl and they go, never again will I feel that pain. And then all of a sudden they train themselves to become these super players who would never in relationships and never have to suffer. And somebody said, one of the most powerful things that you can do is be willing to experience the thing that you made a vow to never experience, and to say, I am willing to be heartbroken again. I'm willing to have my mom and dad give me advice that is heartbreaking again. And where that allows you to come back to, it does allow you to get hurt again, but it allows you to land in that middle instead of just having to stay in this crazy reactive refusal to get hurt by the way that you got hurt before.
What's happening, people? If you enjoyed that, then press here for the full, unedited episode. And don't forget to subscribe. Peace.